Well, hello there. This is Shane from Shane's Reviews, and I hope you are having a great day today. We are going to be talking about Book 2 of the Dorsai series, which is called Necromancy, which was wrote by Gordon R. Dickson. I always want to say Dickinson. Gordon R. Dickson, and narrated by Stefan Rudnicki. This one's kind of a short one. It looks like its release date was 2010, so I'm well behind. So the first book that I read was about one group of people in one place, and the second book seems like it's completely not related at all, but it is. So, quick word about the narrations. Stefan Rudnicki is like another one of those like butter voices or the voices of honey, etc. He's an excellent narrator, and I love hearing him whenever he's at it. The production in this was fairly well. There wasn't anything really to take you out of it. The pacing of it was pretty good as well. So I didn't have to like speed it up a whole lot to get through it. And it is a short read, but I'm confused. I absolutely am. And there's a reason why. But I get what's happening here. I see what's going on, and I really appreciate what the author has done here. Instead of telling a linear story from point A to point B, and then taking that linear story and breaking it up and putting all these other things in there, different things that could be distracting but need to have their own main type of plot points, etc., he's started the book with one group of people to kind of set the scene. He's got the second book with the second group of people to kind of set more of a scene. And I have liked this. I feel like this one's kind of more of a prequel. And forgive me, but I haven't looked anything up. And I'm pretty much going to refuse to. What I want to do in this is kind of like an experiment on this series. I'm just going to, whenever Audible says this is the next book in the series, I'm going to get it, read it, and then we'll see where we're at. I want to be blind through this, essentially. With that being said, let's kind of jump into this. This story, instead of following Dolan, it's following Paul this time around. And the setting is New Earth, and we only find that out later on in the story. And then things start to tie in later in the story. But this was so interesting, mainly because it was completely different. And not so much in the verb, not so much in the way that people were talking, but in the story itself. Because I've noticed whenever it comes to like fantasy and sci-fi that if it's a rah-rah shoot-'em-up story, then there's not going to be a whole lot of fantasy for the most part. There'll be sprinklings of it. Or if it's heavy fantasy, there's not going to be hard science, etc. But this one seems to be a fairly good mix so far of both, really, which is astoundingly fresh, because in the first story we're on a ship and planets and following this person that's kind of not necessarily manic, but he certainly has a drive to get to a point of power to be able to do whatever his will is. And in the second one, we kind of have the same kind of a setup where it's a person, but they don't know themselves yet, and they are on a course of power as well. One is a very strategic individual in the first book. One is a very strategic individual in the second book. But the main differences is the second book, the person almost has superpower type abilities, where in the first book, it's more of a strategical mind for like military, maneuvering this, and this, observations that other people wouldn't catch, etc. So that in itself is kind of like a superpower, but it's not as in-depth. It's not as much of that character being just completely inside of themselves. Yes, I know in the first book there was a guy that had a moment where he ended up like stepping across air. So I mean that's pretty remarkable. But this guy was able to go through time and space and then be kind of reborn. He was able to talk to the things of which he had created, not knowing he had created them, but there's these dualities that's going on, and etc. And that's one of the reasons why I love the book so much. It's not a confused bad, it's a confused, oh, I didn't see this coming. I got caught off guard, which is not a thing that really happens a whole lot these days. So for the author, Gordon Dickson, this was a delight for me to read. I again, I'm going to go through it blind. I am going to probably pick up the next one and have it finished by next week. But out of curiosity, what was the last book that you read or last series that you read that caught you completely off guard like that? I would love to know. So, down there, tell me what it was. There might be great things coming in this series. I mean, it might be pulp, it might be short, but the ideas that are being expounded in this they could turn out to be something either really great or just a big flop. I don't know. But I'm hoping it's great because I haven't really been this excited about a book series since, well, forever, really, it feels like. Because over the last, year or two, it's like with COVID, everything kind of slowed down, and there's so many things that we've been having to do that it's took so much time. I just haven't been able to look things up like I really wanted to. So I owe you guys and gals a thank you. If you were one that left a comment in one of the videos saying, hey, check this book out, because those are the ones that I think that I have actually enjoyed the most out of the last year, is the recommendations from you guys and gals. So this time, you get the clap award. That's right, every one of you, every subscriber, you get the clap award. Every time I say that. And let's give you guys a hand, because I mean, seriously, I do appreciate it. Now, the Dorsai one wasn't one that I don't think anybody has recommended to me as of yet. So if you want to take credit for it, go ahead and do it and put it in the comment section down there. Now, the question of the week is going to be kind of a weird one. I've been thinking about these two, and there's like this undercurrent that's been coming around. It's like humanity is at that point of evolution. Whenever people travel out to the stars and start setting up these new systems and new, planetary governments, etc. With that fractioning that's going to happen, the divergences of humans and people becoming more things of which they were never before, how that would be either polarized, useful, or how it would come about for each subsect, right? Would one subsect be able to fly, for example? Would one subsect be able to have super strength and crush things? Would one be able to control time? Or would there be intersprinklings of that? What do you think about it? Would it be a nightmare scenario for you if you found that you did have these types of superpowers? Or would it be a thing of just ultimate delight? For myself, I think it would be a combination of the two, depending upon which thing I got. I digress. I enjoyed this book a lot. It was unique in that it was kind of space-bound, but there was this fantasy type stuff that was in there that was just incredible to make my way through. And if you've read this book or listened to it, I'd like to know what your thoughts on it was as well, because I'm either going to get hoodooed on this or it's going to be one of those things of it's going to be fantastic and it's going to be enjoyable and it's going to be really fun to get through. So that would be incredible. Now, I don't know if Scott watches my channel, because I do watch his, but Scott, if you see this and you know who you are, have you checked this book out? If you have, kudos to you. If you haven't, you need to read this. I think that this would be right up your alleyway, man. But beyond that, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, you are my hero. Thank you so very much for watching. It's very much appreciated. Since it was such a short book, I really don't want to get into a whole lot of anything about it, because a lot of that stuff could give away something that would make it probably not less enjoyable. So I'm not going to get into all that. But if you want to help us out, then the videos that are coming in, click on the next one up here. And I will see you in the next video. Beyond that, I love your faces. And if you can't tell, I'm actually starting to feel good. The medicine, yay, it's making a difference. Anyway, peace.